Welcome to the first Cambridgeshire and Essex branch butterfly conservation virtual field trip. We're looking at the new meadows created by the Wildlife Trust at their reserve of Trumpington Meadows, quite close to Cambridge. The fence in the background marks the M11, and a lot of the ground here was created when the M11 cutting was made and the chalk and other soil was dumped on the ground nearby. So we have a mixture of natural soil types and some low nutrient chalk excavation, which has created a variety of different meadows, some very lush and some quite dry. The footpath here runs along the edge of the meadows and the banks of the River Cam. So we have some very lush vegetation next to the Cam, a lot of nettles, really good habitat for common nymphalids like the peacocks, comma, small tortoiseshell to breed here. And the meadowland itself is just coming into life, middle of May. Seeing the first few small blues, common blues, small heath. And later in the year we should hopefully start to see marbled whites and a lot of other grassland species. Mentioning the word small blue seems a bit extraordinary, but as you can see here on this dogweed there is a freshly emerged male small blue. It's a species that we thought extinct in Cambridgeshire in the last few decades, but has made a return to this area in the last couple of years. A very welcome return, we have to say. Nobody's quite sure how they got here, whether it's a natural spread or whether they came in with the seed mixtures and plants that were used to create the meadows, or if somebody has deliberately introduced them. The meadows do contain quite a lot of the food plant, the kidney vetch, that they need, and the species has been doing quite well in the recent years in neighbouring counties, where habitat creation and perhaps climate change have both created conditions that they enjoy.
Small blue basking on nettles by the River Cam. Bit breezy. Just opening his wings for a bit of a bask.
And just taken off as I pressed the start button. It was the second small blue of the morning. I've only been here for 10 minutes. They're patrolling along this pathway, waiting for the females to emerge. This is the second one just flying past. Very hard to film on a basic mobile phone. Not by any means a professional wildlife photographer. Hoping we just give you a taste of what this place is like, and if the lockdown and your travel arrangements allow, you'll get a chance to enjoy this site this year or next. Small blue is now settled again. I'm trying to find it in the lens. Not the easiest job in such bright sunlight with the screen very hard to view. I'm hoping we've got it in view there somewhere, but I can't see it. Oh, I can see it now. Near the centre of the screen, thankfully. It's just turning edge on, as they do. There it goes, just getting the pale undersides to the sun there, and it's off again. Just taking a view of the meadow here, where the two subsoils types are very distinctively apparent. So in the foreground on the left, a very dry brown looking area. It's been very dry all spring. the soil under here is pure chalk really, whereas to the right we have a much lusher area with lots of birds for trefoil. The common blues just whizzed through, and this is more of a topsoil and clay base, and you can see this is sort of mosaic moves around the site, so we're then coming into another area of very dry parched grassland on more chalk as we move right. A small heath has just gone through very quickly. I don't think you'll get that on the camera, but enjoying the dry grasses there. And this is the area where a lot of the food plant for the small blue tends to grow, the kidney veg. So the fluffy yellow flowers in the foreground here are those of the kidney vetch. This is the food plant for the small blue. The females will find these little plants and lay an egg in the flower buds, and the developing larvae will feed on the developing seeds. Totally dependent on this plant, and the plant itself is very dependent on this type of habitat. We've been advising the Wildlife Trust on how to manage the site for horse kidney vetch. It really likes the disturbed soil and lack of competition from other plants, so the plan is to scarify areas of the meadow from time to time to create new bare patches. It's obvious that if we left it to grow without any management, the sward would thicken up even on this thin chalk, and the kidney vetch would be choked out and lost. So this is on the more clay-based soil type, and we're looking at the bright yellow flowers of bird's foot trefoil. This one has a burnet companion moth nectaring. It's early in the flight season for common blue, and all the butterflies I've seen have been males. It's also a very warm day, about 22 degrees or so at the moment, early in the mid-morning, and the butterflies have been extremely active and very hard to film. So we're settling for a single moth here, but just to give you an extent of the area of bird's foot trefoil and other meadow plants suitable for butterflies. Common blue females lay their eggs on the bird's foot trefoil, so that's important for them, of course, as well as the nectar that it provides for a lot of other species, and quite a few moths like the spotted burnet moths, and a huge range of other species. It's great to see such a large area of semi-natural grassland, which has all been created from good provenance seed sown on former agricultural land, and it's managed as a hay crop now. So just one harvest taken at the end of the year. Finally managed to find a common blue that's a little bit more intent on settling rather than flying. This one's working its way through the grass. Haven't seen it very well yet, but it's possibly a female the way it's behaving. And but it's a very blue one, so you do get sort of browner and bluer females in this species. It looks distinctly like it's attempting to egg lay, so I think that could be a female, but it's not going to open its wings for us. Not quite sure how it goes. We're now looking at the northern half of the Trumpington Meadows Reserve, crossed over the M11, which you can see in the background. And this part of the reserve has also got recent records of small blue. It's much more of a country park feel to this part of the reserve, and you can see a lot more footpaths, cyclists, people coming for picnics. down by the little lake here. And all of this land was generated as mitigation for the new housing of Trumpington Meadows housing estate, which you can see in the background. A good couple of about 100 acres or more of grassland has been created, and it's great habitat for a lot of wildlife, as well as the butterflies. We have barn owls and skylarks and so on, and lots of insects. And I think this will be a very popular place for butterfly conservation members to visit as the years go by and the colony of small blue in particular becomes a major attraction. I do wish this camera could focus itself for sometimes. Right. Well, I do hope you've enjoyed our short tour of Trumpington Meadows, and I do hope you get a chance to visit in the not too distant future. Butterfly Conservation has been involved in advising on the monitoring and management of the site here, and we do hope to remain in close contact with the Wildlife Trust in the future. If you possibly can support our work, please give us a donation. Our details will be on the home page of Cambridgeshire and Essex branch of Butterfly Conservation. Thank you very much.